apples now.
They're slower growing.
And these are white heifer now. I use rice.
Just laid on them and set over there.
When I was a child, my mom and dad, they usually had a garden, but I avoided it as much as possible. I was lazy.
Even when I remember when I was very young, we would have, the whole family would go out to the garden. Even if we weren't required to do something, the whole family went out to the garden. It was kind of like an evening time ritual.
Helping in any way Mom and Dad wanted us to help, and come harvest time, we'd dig potatoes and pick the corn, cut the tops off carrots. Just the regular chores that kids are called on to do.
Many years ago, I think farming and raising the food was a necessity, and then we experienced coal. And now that has evolutionized now and changed, we are getting back to our roots of agriculture and growing and producing what we need to eat.
It was a way of survival back in the early days when people started moving into the area and populating the area. And I think people just kind of gravitate to one another and kind of relive that old culture.
I think that Appalachians farmed out of necessity. I think that we farmed out of necessity where other people farm in other areas maybe out of hobby. If you have a heavily populated area, then they know where they're going to get their food from. They're going to get their food from the grocery store. They're going to get their food from the market, and that's where they get their food from.
I think a lot of the preservatives and things that they're putting in food is not healthy for you. And whenever you raise your garden, we know what's going in our ground.
It used to be everybody did, and now it's just like the people who have the time and who find it enjoyable go to the garden.
He loves gardening, but every year next month he'll start, I ain't doing this anymore, I'm not gonna raise anymore. And every year by February he's figuring out what he can put out.
I mean, there's nothing better than having little pigs and little calves born and seeing the chickens running around and harvesting stuff out of the garden to eat.
It's a job. It really is a big job. I remember the first year that we raised potatoes, we had to hoe them out by hand and dig them by hand, and it was a major job. But he bought the implements, and he's got plows and things where he can dig the potatoes, and so it makes it a lot easier. The equipment has
a lot of effort and a lot of time. I mean, we have a small business as well, and sometimes I'll come home at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, and I still have things I have to do around the house. I still have to, I might have to go feed the pigs. I might have to go get a cow that's gotten out. I might have to get eggs, things like that. I leave work sometimes and come up here and do things. So there's a lot of effort that goes into it. And with anything, the more effort you put into it and the more time, the more you're going to get out of it. When's the best time to plant an apple tree. It's a joke. You ready?
Yeah.
5 years ago.
It's a blessing to be able to, in the winter, to think, okay, I don't have to run out the store just get me a can of tomatoes to make a pot of chili or whatever, or juice. You know, it's a good thing to be able to make stuff.
Preparing the ground, getting things planted, figuring out what grows good here. It's all a process. We experiment a little bit, try some different things. My wife Becky is pretty well dialed in what she likes to grow in the garden, and she's in there right now cooking up some squash that she got out this morning. So
all the produce here has like that mountain. You can like taste the mountains in it.
We eat good around here. It might need a little salt, I don't know.
Okay. And I always say there's nothing like our cooking here.
Well, my grandmother, her name was Dakota, and when I was little, their house was up there right above me. And I stayed with them a lot, and I was so short that she'd put me up in a chair and we'd cook. And I cooked with her for years, and then Mom too, you know.
When I first got married, I could not boil water, and that is no lie. My dogs got fed very well our first year of marriage, but growing up, my mom was an excellent cook. My mom could make supper out of anything. She loved to be in the kitchen. When I went to college, I developed an appreciation of home-cooked food because I didn't have it. And so when I come back and I got married, I said, I'm going to learn how to cook. That's it. I'm learning.
Some recipes and traditions that's been passed down through the years are many that my mother and grandmother may have taught me, and I think a lot of us are in the same boat when it comes to that we were raised eating a certain way, and that's the way we tend to make, whether it be the way we fry a potato or the way we make cornbread or the way we make anything. It's the way we were raised, and what reminds us most of home is what makes a recipe important.
I'm puny, so I want to make sure I don't get puny here.
Yeah.
I've always liked to eat. I like food. Well, my mom, when she was alive, I would call her up and I'd say, Mom, how do you fix this? And I would write it down because I knew I couldn't remember it. And salmon patties, I mean, they're simple made and everything like that, but as a young girl in her 20s, I had no idea how to make them. Most people really enjoy sharing their recipes for stuff. Now, there's a few people that say, no, I can't give you that recipe, it's old family secret or whatever, but I don't believe that. I think that things should be passed on, you know.
I'd say 10 years old before I ate a hamburger. We called them custard stands back then. And we loved them. We didn't get beef a whole lot. Then, when we was all married and gone, Daddy started raising cattle, and then we would get beef then, you know. Because me and my husband got married, and his cousin come up there and brought a steak. Well, I never fixed a steak. I can fry you a chicken, fry anything, cook, pork. And so I said, I need to talk to you, Benny. And we went in the back room. I said, I don't know what to do. I've never fixed that. So he told his cousin Bobby, and he showed me how to fix it. So I said, get off. Let's go. Do I have to do it? I figured it. You break my eggs. Watch how mad she gets.
As population grows and you get more people in your restaurant, You know, it's hard to say, okay, give me 45 minutes and I'll have that done for you. People want instant gratification. They want their food in 5 minutes. And we don't really slow down and say, okay, that food's going to be worth waiting on, so I'm going to wait 30 minutes on that or 45 minutes. I think we're all in a hurry. And so I do wish sometimes that people would take time on their Sunday dinners when they go out to places around here like the Grill or Cane Kitchen, you know, had been doing their buffet, and appreciate that a good meal takes a little bit of time.
Food is so much a part of our heritage because it's just one of those things that usually most good stories, when you ask someone to tell a good story or you ask someone about something in the past, usually it's surrounded by food, or usually it began by people coming together for food or something. So it's hard to separate your food from your heritage.
When we was growing up, we didn't get birthday presents. Whatever your favorite meal was, that's what Mommy cooked. And then if you had a little sleepover, Mommy would go to the store and buy potted meat. Anybody know what that is? Okay, potted meat. And my pastor calls them funeral home sandwiches. I don't know why, but that's what he calls them. And that was what because it was easy to do, you know, and wasn't that expensive. And we'd make them sandwiches, and she'd get us a bag of chips, and we'd in seventh heaven.
And I hope that our younger generations continue to keep a lot of these same recipes and these same traditions alive, because I do think it's important.
Now y'all gonna eat them, ain't you?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Somebody will sit here and say, now she ain't done the old family way, but I can't. I tried. I just roll. And they'll have horns.
A lot of people are starting to work together and come together to increase the interest in farming and pull people together.
Like people who are making like muffins or stuff like that will buy produce from the other farmers here and make strawberry muffins with their strawberries that they bought from the market. And so all the people here are just so tightly connected, and everything they make, they kind of make together in a way. You know, it was all grown in different gardens, but they bring it together to make a product.
Food is a common ground most of us have. No matter what our differences are, I think food is a way to bring a whole community together. And I think that's why it's so important to keep those traditions alive.
My daughter Robin, lives on Jeremiah and Adams Branch. And that whole little community has a soup bean dinner. Each one of them brings something other, and they all gather around and eat. And I thought that was so neat.
My brothers and some of my uncles started a family reunion up in the head of Blair Branch. It was called the Adams-Thompson-Blair Reunion, and it was held on Friday night and Saturday night. The custom on Friday night would be having a big pot of soup beans.
When I think of Appalachia, one of my favorite memories is Christmas at my grandma and grandpa's house, and that's where the entire family, and when I say entire family, I'm not talking about immediate family, that's where all aunts and uncles and grannies and in-laws and outlaws and all came together to celebrate not just a holiday, but a meal.
You know, we bless our food when we eat, and I tell God, Lord, I thank you for helping us to raise our garden. You know, all I want to do is fill my cans up and put my corn up, you know, and I always have extra if the girls need something. And God blessed us with that, you know.
The word that I always come back to dealing with the farmers here and buying their produce and taking it home is community.
It's comfort food. It gets you where your heart is.
Go big or go home.
Comfort.
Oh, this is just delicious.
You know, just like I'm home. Like,
You know, it makes you feel like you're home.
You feel at home.
Like I'm at home.
You will always want to go back home.
This is just home.
You know, I love to travel, don't get me wrong. I've traveled a lot of places, and when I got home and cooked, I thought, this is good, we're home.
I don't know how it feels to be rich or have plenty of money. I don't know how it feels to never have a worry or care. But I know how it feels down deep in my heart to have Jesus. For he cleansed me and he saved me, and I know just how it feels. I know how it feels to be washed in the blood of Jesus. I know how it feels when his spirit sweeps over my soul. I know how it feels when I'm singing his praises. When you're talking about Jesus, my friend, I know how it feels. I don't know how it feels to be a doctor or a lawyer. And I don't know how it feels to live in the palace of a king. But I know how it feels to be just a poor beggar. And I know how it feels to be the child